Well, a new report from LegalShield points to increased consumer confidence. Overall stress for the American consumer declined more than 3 points from January's record high, according to the firm's latest Consumer Stress Legal Index. But rising bankruptcy inquiries may be signaling a rocky road ahead for the economy. Let's bring in Matt Layton. He's LegalShield SVP of Consumer Analytics. Matt, it's good to talk to you. Help us make sense of this. On the one hand, you've got consumers who are saying, hey, I feel a little better. But the inquiries point to the fact that things are not that great financially right now.
Sure, and thanks for having me today. But before we kind of dive into the numbers, let's talk a little bit about, what the data is that we have and what gives us the ability to see what's coming next. Our data, the LegalShield data, the index data, is based on more than 35 million consumer requests for legal services over the last 20 years. The index examines findings from approximately 150,000 calls per month from consumers seeking legal help in more than 90 different areas of law. That's 7,000 individual requests per day. This provides a unique outlook on consumer actions. They call us to improve their standing, can take control of a stressful situation. And again, these are not opinions or answers to survey questions. People don't call a lawyer for a good time, right? They call a lawyer because they have an issue and they need help. And we found that our data is highly correlated with several key economic indicators that includes the Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index. And it also gives us a predictive look out into the future on how consumers will be feeling and behaving 2 to 3 months from now. Our volume is such that the trends we get from our members reflect the broader trends of consumers across the country.
So, Matt, if it is forward-looking, what does that data tell you about where things are going 2 to 3 months from now?
And I think you certainly hit it right on when you mentioned bankruptcy. Our flagship index is composed of 3 individual indices that looks at bankruptcies, consumer finance, and foreclosures. And I think the story here is that bankruptcy data. The bankruptcy index increased for the 5th consecutive month in a row, and right now it's at its highest level since March of 2020. What's extremely interesting about this is that our LegalShield bankruptcy index actually leads the bankruptcy filings reported by the U.S. court system by up to 2 quarters or 6 months. So we fully believe the increases we're seeing today are going to be sustained for at least the next 6 months.
Matt, not sure if you have if you're able to really track by sector or who's actually, sort of looking for this legal help as it relates to bankruptcies. But based on the data that you have, where is the most pain being felt right now?
Well, it's interesting, right? Because we just saw the, record debt hit 17.5 in the 4th quarter. Delinquency rates on credit cards increasing, auto loans hitting their highest level since the Great Recession. And you asked the perfect question, right? So we're seeing the Gen X and Millennials that are being hit the hardest on these consumer finance issues. These younger age cohorts many times aren't prepared to weather a financial hit or a stressful period as some of the older, more established groups. And really interesting point that we get when we talk to our provider lawyers across the United States and Canada, there are really 3 prevailing pressures that they talk most about coming from those Gen X and millennial cohorts. And that's what's driving consumer stress and an uptick in requests for bankruptcies, repossessions, billing disputes. And that's really credit card defaults. Folks are asking, they're saying, I'm having trouble making my monthly payment, and or which credit card should I pay? Aggressive collections. Should I talk to them? Can I negotiate? What happens if I ignore them? And then just overall inflation, right? We're hearing life is just more expensive. And for many people, their finances aren't keeping up.
Matt, how much of this is exacerbated by the higher rates? I mean, you talk about credit card delinquencies. Certainly, our viewers have seen, those rates are getting higher and higher given the current environment.
And we certainly believe that's contributing to what we see here. And again, so calls to our LegalShield provider lawyers regarding, repossessions again at their highest level since April of 2021, with Generation X and Millennials calling it more than twice the rate this January compared to last. And then even when we dig a little deeper into billing disputes, overall, we're seeing an increase in 53% in those types of calls. But for these younger age groups, those requests are up 96%. So we're definitely seeing consumer stress across the cohorts and across all ages, but really defined by those younger age groupings.
Why is that? I mean, you talk about the leanings demographically. Why are we seeing so much stress in that demographic?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know that our data specifically begins to talk about why that is. I mean, we know that the younger folks, at least as we talk to our provider lawyers, they're really talking to us about, I'm not prepared enough financially to weather stress, or I'm not prepared to weather a big hit or these higher rates for longer.